Hello again, beautiful artists, and welcome back to another episode of Paint Along with Skye. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Skye, and I post beginning level acrylic painting tutorials here on YouTube every Saturday. So make sure to hit subscribe so you can join the fun and paint along, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Alright, so this week I am so happy to start our fall painting series for this season. My favorite season is the autumn, and we have a really fun, super simple and spooky painting for the beginnings of the spooky season. Today we're going to do some spooky cupcakes. Some very cute. We're going to do a little black cat, a pumpkin, and a ghost. We have our 4 standard brushes for today's class as per usual. This kit that I use comes with 4 sizes. It comes with a square wash brush, a medium-sized pointed brush, and then I have just 2 small detail brushes here. I'm gonna get those in the water cup off the side of the screen. And the colors that I have to start off today's very simple background step. I just have some burnt sienna, so like a warm brown, a little bit of black, a fair amount of white, and a little bit of cobalt blue. To see a full materials list of everything that you need to paint along, check the description box below. I think we are ready to go ahead and jump on in. All right, so we're gonna get started with the background step, which is going to be super simple. And I'm going to grab my square brush for this, and I'm just going to mix up a little bit of my light brown, and I have a very light color here, and I'm just going to do a quick horizon line here where my table is going to be. And it doesn't need to be perfectly straight, but it's just going to be a line telling us how far we need to go down. And then we're going to start from the top here and do some textured brush strokes all the way down to meet that horizon line. And once we get to the horizon line, we want to actually bring that brush stroke up and into the other textured brush strokes so that we get a nice little like antiqued looking wall. We're in my little make-believe kitchen today. My walls are actually white, but we're pretending that we have a nice beige background wall here in whatever this imaginary room might be, and just kind of taking my brush in all different directions here to get that nice textured look, and getting that all filled in this top like 60% here of our canvas. Okay, we're going to bring that all the way down to the horizon line and then pull that brush stroke into the rest of the texture. And then once we have a nice looking wall there, we're gonna move on. But actually, let me just add a little bit more of my dark brown, of a darker brown on here, just to sort of mix it up. Keep it interesting, not too solid color for this one. All right, and then I'm going to rinse my big brush and get all the brown paint out. And I'm going to mix up now a steely blue-gray with my beautiful cobalt blue and a little bit of black. And it's your imaginary kitchen or living room or wherever this is, so feel free to mix it up if you don't want to have a bluish gray table, that's all right. You can do any color that you like. And I'm going to take that same horizon line, I'm going to take this blue brush stroke right along the same line. And I'm kind of going up into the brown a tiny bit, but not enough to get it to blend. We don't want to blend, we just want to have the blue meet the beige. And then I'm going to take my color down a little bit further, and then at the bottom I'm going to do a lighter version of this color So just adding a little bit of white, making sure that my paint soaks into the canvas texture. Okay. And then we just want a subtle gradation from our dark steely blue down to a lighter version of that steely blue. And then once it's looking all pretty good and filled in, we're gonna actually step away and let this layer dry for a bit, and then we will come back and add our spooky cupcakes. All right, I'll see everyone in a few. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have a completely dry background here and then a whole bunch of new colors on this new piece of palette paper. So I have a large amount of white, fair amount of black, a little bit of my purple or violet, some cadmium orange, cadmium yellow, and a little bit of cadmium red, some phthalo green, and just a touch of cobalt blue again as well. I rinsed my brushes and got some fresh water at break. Let's go ahead and jump right back on into it. Going to grab my second to smallest detail brush for a little bit of sketching first, before we start filling things in with their colors. So I'm going to just take a little bit of white on my second to smallest brush here, and I'm going to start in the center with a horizontal line. And I'm wanting to do 3 cupcakes. I want them to be pretty good size because they're our focal points, of course. And I'm going to start with my center one. So I have a horizontal line and then 2 lines that come out just a little bit, slight flare there. And then for now, we're just gonna do a little line here for these sort of rectangular shapes, and then we can go ahead and line up the next one in the same shape. Okay, so slightly diagonal lines here, and then we're gonna end it at the same height, like 3 cute little cupcakes next to each other. Okay, and slightly different sizes are okay, but we want to try to make them look like they were all made in the same batch. Okay, and I got a little close there, but that's okay. I think I'd rather have them centered, kind of smushed in the middle here, rather than too far spaced apart. All right, so that's just our basic shape there. And I think I'm gonna take this guy out just a tiny bit. And maybe him too, just a little bit over that direction. I always like to start small. It's much easier to make things bigger than it is to get them small again. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and fill in those cupcakes with their base color of the cupcake wrapper. I'm gonna use my medium-sized brush for this. And I'm going to do purple cupcake wrappers. But again, you could do any color that you like. I thought purple was a fitting Halloween color though. And I'm going to take my purple here into the center of these guys and then work my way out to cover the sketch lines. It's okay if your white blends in with your purple slightly, but we want to try to get good coverage there of our purple lines, or of our white lines with purple. Okay. And then at the top part, I'm gonna have a little squiggly line, but I'm gonna go ahead and just do the majority of my filling in now first with this larger brush, and then we'll come back and add the little squiggles on top of each of our cupcakes in just a second. Just getting that first coat of color on. We can touch it up if we need to later a little bit. If you're seeing through to your background a little, that's okay. Sometimes things need multiple coats of color. And it also will depend on the type of paint that you're using, how much white you're using, how much water you're using. And there's no exact right way, so much as it's just your style and your process. And that's what makes it fun. So we all have different styles, as unique as humans. Okay. And also, now that I have this basic shape filled in, I'm also going to add a slight curve to the bottom. So right now we have flat shapes, but I'm going to grab my medium or second to smallest brush, rather smaller size, and that same color. And I'm going to have a slightly curved base. And then on the top, I'm going to have these little squiggles, little V's. And I'm just going to be patient and wiggle my way across each one. You may end up with like a half a one on the other side, and that's okay. You want to end it right where your shape ends. And then just make sure that it's also filled in with that purple. And we're going to try to have them all be the equal size, equal little triangles, as best as we can. Cute. Perfect. All right, and now we're just going to do the same thing right next door to all three. Curve at the bottom, squiggles at the top, zigzags, technically. All right, take your time. I know that I paint fast, but that's what's so great. One of the things that's so great about this online format is we all paint at different paces. So you can speed me up or slow me down or hit pause whenever you need to. All right. A little bit of a curve there on the bottom. And then we have three cute little cakes. All nice and filled in. And ready for their cute shapes. All right, lovely. So before we add those shapes, let's go ahead and just add a little bit of shadow here at the bottom of those cupcakes that we just created. I'm going to take my steely blue gray color from before, but a darker version of it. So that's the cobalt mixed with a little bit of black and some white. And I'm going to do a few little brush strokes right along the base and kind of coming out horizontally as a shadow. So a little curved brush strokes, just a little bit, and then back and forth, and looking like they're coming from behind as well. I actually cut into my purple a little bit there, which I'm gonna need to adjust slightly. So we want it to be very close to the cupcakes, but of course not actually in the purple. Okay, it's important to add a little bit of horizontal shadows to most shapes that are sitting on top of something else, Otherwise, it'll look like they are floating. All right, so just a quick little adjustment there of my purple. Looking great. Let's get our base colors filled in now for our adorable little spooky toppers. So I think I'm gonna stick with that same small brush, second to smallest detail brush. And I'm going to do a ghost over here, a black cat, and a pumpkin. Very cute. And I'm gonna start with my ghost. I'm going to go right to the edge of my cupcake wrapper and do a little bit of a curved line, and then I'm gonna have a little lump here that comes up that will be the ghost's head. All right. And then once we have our nice shape that we like, we're going to go ahead and just fill that in with its base color. That's what acrylic painting is all about, is we create our shapes, typically by doing some type of sketch, whether it be with pencil or paint. And then we fill them in with our base colors, and then we're adding highlights and shadows. So I'm taking this white here for my ghost right up to the purple. And I want to have a nice seamless transition there with no background beige showing. And I have just a nice smooth base coat of white for our adorable little spooky ghost. Love him. Okay, great. How cute would these cupcakes be in real life? Makes me want to do some Halloween baking. All right, and now for our black cat, which is going to be here in the center, and I'm going to just do like a mound here, a curved brush stroke. Again, always starting a little bit smaller than I think I'm gonna need to go for our little black cat shape. So cute. Apologize for the background sounds. If you're hearing it, we've got people doing yard work and my air conditioning going. I swear they do the yard work right as I start to paint. But that's okay, they're working hard. And it's 100 degrees out still, even though I am crisp and cool and cozy in my mind. And I'm ready for fall to start. Still a little bit of hot weather to get through. Okay, we're bringing the black right along our purple as well. All right, we want to make sure that we have enough what would be cake and icing here to fit our little kitty face. So I'm thinking that we might need to even go a little bit bigger. But be careful with this black. Okay, that looks great. Oh, okay, and then I think our little kitty cat needs some ears right now too. So I like to go a little bit further out than maybe you might think, because we're doing a really cute little exaggerated, like cutesy kitten with far spaced ears, and it's gonna have really cute big green eyes too. Okay, so far apart ears. And you also want to make sure that it doesn't end up looking like a bunny. And I'm going to try to make them as evenly matched as possible. Okay, and then rinsing my brush and moving on to my next shape, which is going to be, of course, a pumpkin. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of yellow and red into my orange to get a really nice pumpkin color, as well as a little bit of white so that I have some additional opacity, a little bit less see-through. All right, and then our pumpkin shape is going to be very similar. I don't have very much space in between here. But what I want to do is also have just curved brush strokes, and I'm going to need to have enough space on my pumpkin too to get a cute little jack-o'-lantern face. Don't want it to be too smooshed of a face, so give yourself some space. Alright, and then I'm filling in my brush strokes here sort of in the direction of that pumpkin. Every brush stroke matters. Matters how you lay them down. That adds to the overall effect. So for our pumpkin here, even these small little brush strokes, we're going in the shape of the pumpkin, which is sort of going curved brush strokes from the center on this side, and then they'll move with the curves of the pumpkin. Once you get past that center line. How cute! These are gonna look good, I think. All right, and then I'm going to rinse my brush again and come in with some bright green. And create a little stem here at the top part of my pumpkin. So adorable. All right, and I think I'm gonna do a little bit of wet on wet blending with my pumpkin too, because I wanna have what looks like highlights here on these little pumpkin sections. So I'm gonna take some yellow orange, that same brush, just rinsed it. And then I'm going to bring some curved brush strokes through my wet paint, and it should blend a little bit, and you'll get a little bit of depth there with your pumpkin. All right, now let's leave those shapes alone for now, since the first layers now need to dry. But our cupcake wrappers down here are fully dry, and they are ready for second coats if needed. And then also some highlights and shadows. Okay, so if you need to add a little additional color anywhere first, you can do that. We want to make sure that it's nice and filled in and solid. Okay. Great, and then let's make a shadow color. I'm going to do that with some additional purple as well as a pinch of black, and that will get this beautiful deep purple color. And I'm going to do a quick outline around my shape with this shadow color. All right, and this is giving me a sort of opportunity to correct that shape if I need to. And then I'm going to take the lower parts here of my V, so where it's comes the furthest down here, the lower points, and I'm going to drag my brush from that point down and sort of trail my brush stroke off, and then come up from the bottom for a few too, but I don't want full solid stripy lines so much, as I want that effect right there where I have some lines that are sort of trailing off and then picking up there at the bottom. And we are going to do the same thing for the next two. A little bit of water, always added to my paint, is how I get that nice smooth look. And it is smooth, but then there's also sometimes a little bit of canvas texture showing too, and that's okay. So especially for steps like this where we're trailing our brush stroke off, you might get a little bit of fuzzy texture on the canvas, and that's totally fine. Okay, don't worry about coming back in and trying to make perfect straight lines. We're just adding this as shadows, more so than outlines even. Looking very cute already, making me hungry. All right, moving right along to our cute pumpkin. And I'm sort of bringing them all along that circular orientation here too. So from the bottom, we're kind of fanning out. Okay, looking good. Now let's mix up a lighter highlight color. We'll go in that space in between that we left. So we want to do a very light purple here. So white with purple, and we're going to do some highlights right through the center parts of our cupcakes. So cute. And it's pretty much the same idea where we're trailing down from the top and then we're meeting a few from the bottom too. Okay, so coming from the top and then coming up from the bottom. Flicks of the wrist, very light brush strokes, a little bit of variance in each one, so it's not a perfect pattern. Okay, but we're getting a nice depth effect here. Great. Gosh, so cute. All right, and now let's go ahead and go back into our little spooky shapes and finish those guys off. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of black on my brush and come over here for my ghost, and I'm going to add his eyes. And the way that I like to start for these shapes is to do just little brush strokes like so that are sort of coming to a V here, and then I can come back and make them a little bit bigger and have them be ovals. All right, and then I'm also going to take a dark gray. So I just added a little bit of white onto my brush, and I'm going to take that dark gray around my ghost shape. Okay, and then just a few brush strokes here from the bottom, kind of coming up into the direction of our ghost. So cute. And then a little bit of a lighter gray. Gonna do a few little gray brush strokes too. And if you go too heavy-handed, just grab some white. And you can use that to tone things down a little bit or correct your shape if you need to. All right, that looks good. Very gentle, not too much to that step. Okay, so my black cat face is actually still a little bit wet, but it looks like my pumpkin is drying a little bit faster. So I'm gonna go over to the pumpkin for now. I'm gonna do the black cat last. Okay, and I'm going to take a little bit of black and some red to come up with like a burnt orange. Beautiful. Added that into my orange for my shadow color here for the outside of my pumpkin. Just going to outline the outside shapes. Doesn't need to be perfect. Remember, this is icing. And then I'm gonna have a few little brush strokes coming from the top and the bottom. Very gentle, not too striking, because we need space and blankness for our pumpkin face for our jack-o'-lantern. Let's take some darker green. So green with a little bit of black. I'm gonna do a quick outline of the stem. And you can also, if you want to, add a cute little spiral. So we're decorating our cupcakes now. So really this is another opportunity to mix it up and get creative if you want to. Very cute. I love it. And then let's do a little highlight on our green too. So just adding a little bit of white and I think a little bit of yellow too, so that it's more of a yellow green. And I'm just going to touch the green areas ever so gently. All right, so cute. Let's do our jack-o'-lantern face with black. I like to start with the nose, pretty much right in the center here. And we're just going to do a triangle. That is right side up, and fill it in. Very small here, okay, much smaller than you might think. So we need lots of space for the mouth and the eyes. Okay, and then I'm going to do the eyes coming up sort of more diagonally, but also still right side up. Can't wait to carve pumpkins this year. Always fun to do a classic pumpkin like this. All right, and then for the mouth, I'm going to go pretty close to my nose here. And then I'm gonna have two little buck teeth coming down. And then a little bit of a curve coming up. And then I'll come around, and then once I get down here, I'll do another little buck tooth coming up like that. When I'm doing small details like this, I want to remind everybody that's watching on a touch screen device like a phone or an iPad that you can zoom in. You can zoom in, you can pause, you can back it up. I know it's Paint Along with Skye, but it's a little more flexible in reality, again, with this online setup. All right, I brought a little bit of purple here into my countertop with my finger accidentally, or with my hand. Oh, I'm gonna need to fix that real quick. Clean up. Okay, there we go. All right, our adorable pumpkin, so cute. Let's go ahead and work on our little black cat now to finish these off. All right, the black cat has got to be my favorite. It is just so cute. And let's start with the nose as well. And I'm going to do that with a little bit of pink with just red and white together. And I'm going to center the nose, and this time it's going to be an upside down triangle. So cute, tiny little nose, because again, we're going for that so cute, can't handle it kitten look. I'm especially a sucker for black cats, they're my favorite. And torties. Very, very cute. All right, we might need a couple coats of paint since it's black. Pretty heavy coverage there. All right, so cute. Now let me show you guys how to do these eyes. I love doing these. So we're gonna take a little bit of green or whatever color that you'd like your kitty cat's eyes to be. I'm gonna do definitely a bright green, and I'm just going to create 2 circles to start here of the green and fill it in. Okay, we look kind of like an owl right now. And then I'm going to grab some black. And I'm going to do another circle here for the pupil. And that's going to give us a really cute little crescent shape for the eye. Like so. So we just have a circle inside. And then a little bit of clean white. I rinsed my brush really quick. We're just gonna do a little dot towards the center more. You don't want him to look too cross-eyed, but like he's looking up at you. Okay, adorable. Little bit of white on the ears, along the top of the head. Kind of doing like a reverse shadow. Okay, and then a little bit of like a gray color. I'm gonna just do a tiny little mouth. And then with white again, a few little whiskers. So cute. All right, I love it. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you thought of today's painting in the comments section below. I'd also love to see your work, which is why I've created a Facebook group specifically for my students to do just that. And there's a link in the description box below to join. It's the best part of my day to see what you guys are painting. So please make sure and post your work over there. Can't wait to see it. And that is all the instruction that I have for us this week. So happy almost fall, almost Halloween. So excited for the next season's paintings with you guys. That's all we have for this class. So until next time, stay creative.